All we're doing though is we're getting in tight, we're making sure that they're placed in a position where it's backlit, and we're using the like a tree branch with the seeds on it to kind of fall right in front of the lens to create this like kind of snow effect. Stick around for this video because in it, I'm gonna be showing you I don't know what's up with the fingers, 6 of my favorite techniques for creating better images, regardless of what camera you're using or what scene you're working in. Let's dive in. What's up, my friends? My name is Pi. Welcome to SR Lounge, and if you're new here, this is your place for no-nonsense photography education. I do, however, use the term no-nonsense loosely. I like to have a little fun while we do this. So look, WPPI is coming up. I've got a photo walk and a platform class. I want you guys to be there, and we'll talk about that at the end of this video. But these techniques are kind of a lead-in to that, because at WPPI during the photo walk, I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to create incredible images anywhere. These are 6 of my favorite techniques that you guys can utilize right now with the gear that you have just to get better images. And we're gonna start this off with number 1. Number 1 is find the brightest area of your scene or your frame and place your subjects there. Look, here's the deal. We are naturally drawn to, well, the brightest area of a photograph, right? So if you place your subjects there and allow everything else to kind of naturally vignette, our eyes just kind of drop right into the subject. This is what you see here with Dylan. So all I did was get down a little bit lower, place Dylan right above the tree line, had the tree lines leading into him, but then he's also placed in the area of the sky that's brightest. And then in post, we're just enhancing or exaggerating that natural vignette that's already present. Similarly in another scene, so this is an engagement shoot that we actually did for our upcoming Natural Light Couples Engagement workshop. Let me get my words right. So they're placed against the horizon line holding hands, and I'm pulling back, getting down low again, and putting the sun right behind them. So again, this naturally pulls us right into our subjects, because as we extend out from that brightest area of the frame from where the subject is, everything else is naturally getting darker. We're getting a natural vignette. Now here's a little bonus tip when it comes to this technique. You actually can utilize this technique even when shooting close. So for example, this is a portrait of Shivani up in San Francisco. And I'm actually shooting this on a 24. This is one of my favorite techniques, shooting portraits up close with a 24 or a 35 and placing the subject in the center of the frame to avoid distortion. But on a prime, so this is a Sigma 24mm prime, on this lens, when you shoot wide open, and like most prime lenses, when you shoot wide open at 1.4 or 2.0, you're gonna get a natural vignetting. You get this on any lens. Please, if you're listening to this and you hear me say something wrong, I'm sorry. Let me get it right so I can avoid all the comments. So look, anytime you're shooting wide open, you get that natural vignette, but the beauty is you can use that naturally in your scene where I have Shivani placed against the sun and the natural vignette is pulling us right into her. So she's already against the brightest part of that frame, and we also utilize the lens vignetting to kind of help exaggerate. This is what I love about lens characteristics, is when they're used well, these distortion effects and characteristics can really lend to a better photograph if you know your gear. So that's that. All right, let's go on to technique number 2, and this is to narrow your crop. Look, sometimes you're shooting a beautiful location, you can shoot wide and incorporate everything into your shot. Other times, you're in the middle of a parking lot or a street, and what you need to do is focus in on the areas of your background that actually look good. Case in point, this is shot right next to a moving truck. In fact, I thought the moving truck was creating a nice reflective light to the right of her, and so I placed her right there, and everything else is just sidewalk and street and cars all around us. And now we're just using a tighter lens, so anywhere between 50 to 105. We're using a tighter lens to basically just focus in on the elements of the scene that we like. We do this all the time, so just selectively cropping out what you don't want to show. This image was created in our parking lot in our studio. It's a really crappy warehouse parking lot, and in fact, what's behind her is the power box. So this is the hedging that's kind of guarding the power box. All we're doing is cropping and kind of choosing our angles to conceal all the elements that we don't want to show. So it's a fairly simple technique, but again, it's so incredibly effective, right? We have a yellow rope in this shot. If you pull back and you see the entire scene, it looks like junk. All we're doing though is we're getting in tight, we're making sure that they're placed in a position where it's backlit, and we're using the like a tree branch with the seeds on it to kind of fall right in front of the lens to create this like kind of snow effect. This is again one of our images coming up in the natural light couples photography course. You'll want to check it out. Okay, so that's it. Crop, get in tight, conceal the things that you don't want to show. Let's go on to number 3. Along with concealing things, one of my other favorite techniques to use is to actually use my phone and to create reflections where I want to conceal or enhance something in a photograph. So again, this shot was done in our parking lot, right? And what I'm doing is I don't like everything that's to the left of Devin. So I have Devin lean up against this office window. And that way we get a nice natural reflection, and I don't want the negative space on the right side either. So this time I'm using my phone against the right side of the lens element to create a second reflection. So now we have her image, her reflection, and a second reflection created by the phone to kind of further enhance or conceal things that we don't want to see. So by doing this, I don't have to show anything to the left side of Devin that I don't really like. Same thing here. So shooting down, this is again, this is actually a wedding that we recently did, a 10-day wedding. I'm going to talk about that in probably a separate video because it was absolutely a blast. Now this is my bride Anu, and as she's getting her henna done, well, we're shooting like in the back porch area of her house, and it's fine, it looks pretty, but shooting down at the ground, I don't really want to see more of the ground or more of the pillow or more of the setup or anything like that. So instead what I'm doing here is just holding a mirror right in front of the lens, and you'll see that in the behind the scenes image. I'm just holding a mirror to create the reflection, and I'm aiming that reflection right at her. So in this kind of blurred out view, we have the henna, but then you can also see a nice kind of implied portrait, profile portrait of the bride in the shot. So again, not only concealing, but using the mirror to enhance. Now let me show you one more example of this technique, because oftentimes we use this technique in not so great locations, right? But this technique is actually awesome for locations like this, for example. This was Anu and Akshay's wedding. We got to the ceremony day. This is day 9. We have all these incredible vendors there to make this day and this set of events what it was, right? Planning, we had David Tatera. We had on florals, Butterfly Floral with Inna. We had Amber Productions for the lighting. I mean, just a crack team of vendors putting their time and effort into this. And when we arrived, well, we didn't have it in the budget to replace the entire carpet in this room. And we don't necessarily like the carpet that's placed in there. It's just kind of distracting compared to everything else. So rather than shooting the carpet, I'm again using the phone just right against the bottom of my lens each time I'm shooting against that carpet to kind of create this reflective look where I can reflect the items in the shot that I actually like, and I can conceal what we're all not really digging that much. So when you can incorporate things like this into your professional shoots, you make everyone look even better in your photographs. Technique number 4 that I feel like photographers forget a lot is to show motion. You don't always need to freeze everything to get those tack sharp everything in an image. Sometimes showing motion adds a lot to a photograph. Now to do this, you're gonna slow your shutter speed down. Usually a shot like this is gonna be between 1/5 to 1/20th of a second, okay? This is an image where the couple waits for the signal. They walk into the center of the street. I'm on a tripod standing a bit back in a safe area, and we're waiting for kind of these buses to go across, and we shoot with them holding still in the middle. Everything else kind of blurs, and it's like this motion where they're kind of trapped in time, like they're just kind of stuck in this moment and the world kind of passes around them. This is similarly that same technique up on a tripod. This is around probably 1/4 of a second of a shutter speed, and we're just letting people in this walkway walk their way through. And in fact, we tell them, like, just keep walking through, because oftentimes you'll set up a tripod, set up a camera, you have your couple standing there, and they'll just want to hold still, right? Everyone walking around will want to avoid the scene or kind of like wait for you. So you just kind of encourage them, walk through, we want you to keep moving. and you let them know you're part of the shot. You're part of the shot. They have a lot of fun with this. The crowd and the interaction is awesome. So this is with them walking through the frame, and you get this really beautiful kind of stuck in time sort of moment. Now let's talk about freezing the action, but kind of cueing it as well. So this is my technique number 5. And one of the things that I feel like makes for just that much of a better photograph is to cue the action. What you're trying to get out of this is not only kind of expressions, but you're trying to get interesting elements that you can freeze and incorporate into that still moment, right? So in this image, I'm having our dad kind of tickle his daughters and to kind of pull them in and snuggle with them a little bit. And you get these beautiful emotions and reactions out of them as they are in the action in this photograph. It's so much more interesting to look at because of the expressions in the story that's being told versus just a static portrait. Now, similarly, in this next shot, these are my kids, and this is out. We're just kind of kayaking across this little area. I forgot what this place was called. That rock is super distinct, and every one of you probably knows exactly. Morro Bay, I think that's what it is. So we're out there kayaking to this little island, and I wanted to get like a fun picture of the kids, right? Now, I don't usually take a lot of stuff with me for this. I had a 24-70, and that was it. That's all I take with me. So I know that I can't rely on really bokeh and all those kind of things to make my images look interesting, so I have to look to other techniques. So what do? We lay out some bread, and then we get all the birds to kind of come and land. I put the kids on the other side of it. We shoot with the 24-70 out wide, and I have the kids run through. Okay, so, and we did it a couple times to get these really cute shots, and they're having a blast, and we get these really great images where the birds are kind of frozen as they're flying up into the air. It just is such a more interesting shot than having your kids just stand there for a portrait, right? And you can do this with any camera. I mean, an iPhone can do this, any mobile phone can do this. This is not about any camera that you need. This is just about creating or directing the shot. Number 6, I love adding light, and more specifically coloring that light to add a little bit of effect to my images. So let me show you. This is actually a tutorial. We have this full tutorial online on YouTube as well, so you guys can check that out. But all we're doing here is we're shooting the studio. It's just a gray seamless white background. It doesn't look great. So all I'm doing is throwing a red gelled flash up onto the wall. Now, I like using ProPhoto gear. You guys can use the flash gear that you prefer, whatever you want to do. And we also use ProPhoto as well as MagMod light modifiers. So we have just a ProPhoto gel on there, a red gel that's hitting the background, and we have a second light that's just lighting up our subject, right? And that second light isn't gelled. So we turn a very boring scene and photograph into something really interesting to look at by simply adding color. The other thing we can do is enhance existing color. So this comes from lighting 1. And in this scene, we're just using a standard on-camera flash, putting a CTO onto it, and then bouncing it off of a reflector to put warm light onto our subject. Now, when our subject is warmed up, to correct for that, we have to cool down the color temperature, right? So when we cool down the color temperature to get the skin tones more neutral, the background goes blue. We have other tutorials on this also for full-length education on these types of lighting techniques. Check out the lighting series on srloungeworkshops.com. But in a nutshell, these 6 techniques can really be done regardless of the gear that you're using. In fact, all of the techniques could be done with just your mobile phone, except for the last one. The last one, you do need a flash setup. I guess you could use your cell phone with like a ProPhoto C1 type thing if that's what you have. But everything is stuff that you can go and do right now. That's what's fun about these techniques. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now let's talk about WPPI. WPPI comes along once a year. It's in Las Vegas. It's an absolutely awesome convention. If you are a portrait photographer, you need to go. Okay, I'm just gonna make it super simple. You need to go. Not only are you gonna see tons of different educators, you're gonna learn a grip of information. There's also an entire trade show floor where you can check out the latest and greatest in literally everything portraiture. Okay, so be sure to go. Now, one little tip here. WPPI is one of those places that you can end up spending a lot of money. So here's my advice. If you're going, which I hope to see you there, go and visit the trade show floor on day 1, but don't buy anything on day 1. make sure that you visit the trade show floor, go back again day 2, day 3, and on day 3 or day 2, when you've seen kind of everything, and you've kind of let the emotions cool a little bit, then bust out your wallet and buy the things that you actually want, because it's very much a place where you can get tempted into buying a whole grip of stuff that you never planned on and you end up not using. So that's just my little bit of advice to you guys. In addition, at WPPI, I'm going to be teaching 2 different classes. So one is a platform class. You guys need to come to it. It's going to be, you're going to become a better photographer, and you're not even gonna have to pick up the camera to do it. Come to the platform class. You're gonna learn something that's gonna help you tremendously in business. We're gonna be covering the wave and other kind of psychological components of being a better photographer in person. You'll absolutely love it. Then I have a photo walk. It might be sold out already, but if not, I think it actually sold out really quick. But if not, maybe you can sign up for a different photo walk. Check out all the other educators and people that are out there. It's absolutely going to be awesome. You guys will also be able to see me. I'll probably be walking the trade show floor and doing other things. So please come find me, say hello. Let's get a selfie. You know, the huge. That's it, my peeps. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. We have tons of awesome education coming, guys. And for A to Z education, we're talking starting from the ground up in any area of portraiture that you want, jump onto srloungeworkshops.com. We have the most comprehensive gold standard library of education for aspiring portrait and wedding photographers. I'll see you guys later. That's it, I'm done. I talked a lot. I'm losing my voice. Bye.